I'm going to show you how to make a very easy and very efficient 2x2 piston door. Works just like every piston door. There's nothing particularly special about the function, but it takes a very little space. If you've ever studied gates and circuits and redstone wiring, you'll notice it takes a little bit of work. But this one is very efficient and very easy. It works. Whichever piston or whatever pressure plate you step on will will open the door. But I'm also going to teach you a little bit of how the circuitry works, so that if you run into problems, maybe say building this door into a side of a mountain, you run out of room. Sometimes you have to make a long line of redstone. It can be troublesome. But I'm going to teach you each little bit of circuitry that you need to know for this. The first thing you need to know is that when you power a block with something that creates a redstone signal, what you're doing is actually what's called hard powering the block. So if I was to step on this, it's powering this block, hard powering, which means whatever here is activated. Stone doesn't do anything with redstone, but it does send a signal through into the redstone that's coming out of it. Now that works differently if, like say for instance, you see a better example of what I'm talking about, hard powering. It's not just that this is powered. You see that it lit up, and which means this took power and it sent out power. That's the basics of what I'm talking about for hard powering. But you'll notice any input, redstone input, will hard power a block. If I was to say maybe put on lever instead, turn it on, it's hard powering block, sending power in and through to redstone dust. All of them work that way. Now, redstone dust can soft power a block. You notice here we'll put on a redstone with a constant signal going through and redstone dust coming out the side. But if you run it into another block, it will soft power it, which means if it does something with redstone, it will turn on. But as you'll notice, it does not send signal through the block. Now, you might think it just ran out of signal, but that's not the case, because if you break that and put something there, you know that the signal reaches all the way through that. Now, when a block is soft powered, like say this one is, it won't send it through to redstone dust, but other redstone, like say a comparator or a repeater, can detect and will detect the power and send the signal through. So a redstone comparator or repeater will detect that it's being soft powered and in turn be powered. But redstone is not powered by soft power. So you have this is being powered and sending power is what hard powered means. Hard powered means the block is powered and it sends it through into redstone dust. Soft power means it turns it on but doesn't send power through into redstone. If you need that, then what you do is create something over here. But what you'll notice it also does, let's create here with a normal block. Oops. What happens here is normally this torch would be on, but because it's on a soft or hard powered block, it turns off the redstone torch. And that right there is what's really going to be crucial for us here. You really want, because that's what's going to help power our 2x2 piston door. See, right now it's on because nothing's happening. It's working like a normal functioning redstone torch, sending out signal. But the tip is not touching this block, so it's not powering anything over here. But if you notice, if you put a block on top of it, it does power that. So, when you soft power it now, what happens is it turns it off. And that right there is what's called a NOT gate. You want it to not be powered until it's powered. That's a little more complicated than you really need to know. Remember, none of this is important here. here, all what you need to know is this. That's how we're going to have our door stay shut when we're not activating it. That is the basics of it right here. But you'll see it all in play, and it will make a lot more sense. So let's go ahead and make our 2x2 piston door. What you want to do is start with a big open area, because when you need to be able to see everything first, so practice it on an infinite flat world like this. That way, when you make it into the side of a mountain or into your house or whatever you do, if anything goes wrong, you know how to fix it. You know how everything works. You want one block above the ground, and then turn that into a line of 8 blocks total. Okay. Now, at the end of each the block on the end of each side of the line, you want to put another block. And next to those facing in, you want 2 sticky pistons, one on top of the other, facing inwards, both of them. And then finally, the blocks that will become the door. Now you want to make the platform for the pressure plates. On a pressure plate. And that's the basic shape of the structure. Now, what we're going to want to do is have these doors constantly shut, like I said. So you're going to have that constant source of power, but that you can turn off. So what we're going to do is have a block right below the pistons here. If you put it over here, it's not going to be a huge problem, but it's going to constantly power that one, and you don't want it powered that way. It's probably not going to interfere with the door, but just to be safe, put a block right below and a redstone torch on the outside. And another trick that you're going to see here is how to send a line of power vertically without running a lot of distance and losing signal. Here's the trick. You want to put 2 double slabs next to where we want the half slab. You want that just covering the top space of what the block would occupy. Because if you see here, the redstone, it treats it like a normal block, and it goes up, and it sends signal. If you were to put another block here, another here, you'll see it powers the piston door, but it continues to go up. If you did that with a normal block, it would cut off the signal, and it wouldn't be going up. That's the beauty of raising it. This works in both Java and Bedrock, but for some reason, it doesn't send power down in Bedrock Edition, just in Java. In Bedrock, it only goes up. So put it back here, it powers the bottom, put another one on top, it sends it through. You do the same thing on the other side. A block here, redstone torch on the other side. 1 redstone dust, our guide, double slabs, break them, our single slab floating, second slab floating, power the bottom, power the top. Now this is all you need for it. And as like I said, it's just 1 block or 1 torch powering each side, but we want only 1 input to have to, even though there's 4 pressure plates, we only want 1 to activate both of them. So what we're going to do is put under each block that we have here with a pressure plate, we want to connect them by redstone dust, the empty space underneath. And then connect it into the block, the back of the block that has a torch on it. And as you saw before, if you soft power this block, it's going to turn this torch off and open a door. And that works very easily because these blocks, these pressure plates, are going to hard power the block, which means it sends that signal down and into this block, turning that torch off. And that torch off as well. That is all there is to it. Now that you know how to make it, you can make it anywhere else. You can make it in the side of a mountain. If you have a thick enough wall in a house, you can do that as well. Anything you have, any place you want. It may take a little bit of creative wiring, but you've got it. That's all there is. Bye.